When we look at this standard, this is, as Nicola has just said, we do not do this for every standard. Maybe we should, but we don't. And the importance of this standard is that it is so necessary and that it is so pervasive. Many of you may have seen what's on the screen. It shows the International Energy Agency's expectation around growth in the use of energy. And you can see that over the next number of years that it's just going to keep increasing. And the time, therefore, to actually address this issue is now. If we look at how international standards can help in the use of energy, you can see several examples again on the screen. The opportunity to have good energy management practices clearly understood across the world. When we look at international trade, when we look at the sort of systems, equipment and methodologies, if we have a global challenge and it's energy, then the global solution must be international. And international standards in the areas such as those shown on the screen and also here look across and provide the opportunity for us to be smart in the way in which we introduce energy efficiency and energy management. I'm very privileged actually because before I took up this role, I was actually working with Marco in running, or helping to run, 3 workshops, actually on the predecessor of this standard. And what was really interesting for me was the workshops were in Thailand, they were in China, and they were in Brazil. In each place, this was seen as being an absolutely critical issue and an issue that needed to be dealt with now. So what's ISO doing about the broad issue of energy? Many of you in the room actually can probably talk to this slide far better than I, because you're the experts. But just to remind those of you who may not be engaged in energy, from the technical committee sense, we have the strategic advisory group on energy. What should we be doing in the future? How do we look at responding to the needs, not just today, but tomorrow? We have a joint JTC2 committee between ISO and IEC looking at terminology. We have, obviously, what was the project committee, now the technical committee, 242 on energy management systems, and so on, and so on, and so on. And biofuels and other issues associated with that is really important. We might well ask the question, if we've got 18,600 standards in the catalogue, why do we need one more? And the importance, I think, here is that energy efficiency is really achieved through changes in how energy is managed, and that an energy management system really does provide that method for integrating energy issues into the existing management systems for continual improvement. The plan, do, check, act model has worked and worked really well. If we look at management system standards, if we look at environmental standards, and this standard now, I think, links really, really clearly into that area as well. So why the focus on energy efficiency? Well, energy efficient components can certainly bring about energy efficiency in the range of 2 to 5%. But if we look at systems optimization, systems efficiency gains of somewhere between 20 and 30% are possible. And if we're looking to keep moving at that, then we really need to go with that. It's what we've been saying over the last 2 days, where's the low-hanging fruit? For example, if industry accounts for 35% of worldwide final use of energy, and more than 50% of that energy used in developing countries, then how can we actually help and use, as a pragmatic result, pragmatic move towards these sorts of things, how can we get on with energy efficiency? Again, information on the screen around estimating the potential to decrease energy intensity is a key issue associated with this standard. And it's also a developing country issue. Developing countries tend to use more energy for specific output. So the opportunity of introducing energy efficiency measures to defer or delay capital expenditure on energy generation, and for industry there to be also get more effective and efficient, is really, really key. A very telling measure on the bottom of the screen, a sustained $10 US cost increase per barrel results in a 1.47% loss in GDP for many countries. But the difference between a developed country and a developing country and the impact on their GDP is critical. My point is that standards here, and this standard in particular, have a global reach and a global relevance. And the focus on energy efficiency is growing. China's 5-year plan is very clear and very specific. The discussion in the G8, or the G2, or the G20, or whatever it is this week, is also critical, profound, and intense. And so this standard, as you'll hear from other speakers, has been developed. It establishes a framework, and it provides a proven model. It allows us, industry, services, developing countries, SMEs, all of us, even individuals perhaps, to actually look at our energy usage, to look at the opportunity to make energy efficient methodologies, to put energy efficiency actually into the boardroom. It's no longer a technical issue, it's a management issue, and it has a very significant impact on the bottom line, as we'll hear from some of the previous speakers. And finally, it's also something we need to think about, not just for today and for us, but for tomorrow and for the next generation. Thank you very much.